Ronaldo and Thornton. Thornton took exception to the way Ronaldo came through. Couple of quick jabs by Ronaldo, scoring on Thornton. Misses with the left. Thornton, the uppercuts. Oh, he caught him good there. Ronaldo's stunned, but he comes back. Now, big exchange, and Thornton knocks him down.
The fans were going wild for that fight. Philly, Boston, the Dukes were up. But is fighting soon going to go by the wayside? A new poll of Canadians shows overwhelming majority say get rid of fighting in hockey. Should not be allowed. Ban fighting in all junior hockey. 78% said yes in an Angus Reid survey. 68% said ban fighting at the professional level. Didn't sound like those fans wanted fighting banned from hockey. Let's check in with Matt Cauz. He is 9 to noon on TSN Radio in Toronto. Joins us now from our studio there. Matt?
Yes.
Your thoughts on hockey and fighting?
I got a lot of thoughts. Let's first start with the fighting. Here's what I don't like. I don't like the stage fights. I don't like when fighting happens because of a good hit. One guy hits another guy and it's a clean hit and the other team decides we need to retaliate. That kind of fighting I'm not really a fan of. Does fighting have a place in hockey? It does. There is a sort of natural time for it to happen. So in that sense, I'd like to see fighting curtailed. Also, I prefer the skill guys in the league versus the goons. Now, all that said, I'm not going to be one of these people that says you need to completely get rid of fighting. As I said, it is sort of a part of the fabric of the game. Now, those polls, I got to tell you, I take issue with a lot of those polls, that one from the Globe and Mail, because every year they do one of these polls.
Yeah,
and it means,
they seem to be on a bit of a campaign, let's say, to get rid of fighting in hockey.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, these polls mean nothing. They interview about 1,000 people, and they do a cross-section of all of Canadians. And if you do that, especially people that maybe are casual to only semi-hockey fans, they see a fight on TV, they see someone, getting hit hard, gets a concussion. Of course they're going to say, let's get rid of that. What they really want to do, if you want to find out if Canadians don't want fighting, you need to do a comprehensive poll. You need to do one of 10, 20,000. And you need to strictly ask season ticket holders, people who say that they go to hockey games on a regular basis.
Or people that watch every week.
What's that?
Or people that watch every week, because there's large sections of the country where you can't go, but they are, you know what they're doing on Saturday night.
Absolutely. People that consume the game on a regular basis. Ask them. And I guarantee you the numbers won't be that high. Now, if they do a survey of that of 10, 20,000 and still the overwhelming majority want to get rid of fighting, one, I'd be a little surprised, but two, then fine. Then it's up to Gary Bettman and Donald Fehr and the Board of Governors to address that issue. Until then, I find these polls absolutely meaningless. They sell papers. They're a good talking point, but they're utterly useless.
Well, here's what I don't get is that, as you say, the casual folks are all for it. Yeah, get rid of it. But the fans were going nuts there. Now, one of the myths that is built up around fighting in hockey is that the American owners, when the original six, when they expanded into the U.S., the American owners put it in. Quite often, it's the Americans that want to get rid of it now. But Canadian fans love fighting in hockey. It is just, as you say, it's part of the game. Now, there was a time when, before I was cured, when I used to watch a lot of Leafs games.
Yeah.
Thankfully, they have a cream for that, and I'm cured of that.
Hey, but I mean,
back then, it seemed that every time the Leafs were down by a goal, they would just start fighting. This was early 90s, so they'd start fighting. So that meant about 2 minutes into the game, it'd be nonstop fights. That I don't appreciate because, as you say, that's more of a stage fight rather than two guys, the tension builds up. Yep. If you've been on the ice, you know this. The tension builds up, and at a certain point, it's going to pop. And that I don't mind. It's the stage stuff that drives me nuts.
Oh, absolutely. The stage stuff is what gives fighting a bad name, which odd sentence to say, but it's really the time when it comes out is when you've got the bigger players taking liberties at the skill guys, where they're doing cheap shot after cheap shot. If the referees aren't controlling the game, if the referees aren't putting a hammer down on it, then it's up to the players. And when the players are policing it, on some levels, it does work. It's when it goes out of control, or, we're going to send a message. I don't believe in sending a message if it's just because you're down 7-1. I do believe in sending a message when we're not going to let you take a run at our guy anymore.
Yeah.
So it does have a place. It's part of the strategy of the game. It's entwined in the game. And yes, hockey's the only sport that really has fighting, but it's been going on for so long. This is not
the only
teams.
It's the only major team sport that also has skates. So there's lots of different.
Oh, absolutely. Each sport has its own aesthetic. You're right.
I want to read you a quick quote from Paul Carson. He's the VP of Hockey Development at Hockey Canada. He says, "You can have sanctions, you can have radar traps set up on the highway, and people will still speed. What are the deterrents to keep players from engaging in a fight and totally staying away from it in the game?" I think he's open to questions, but here's my thing. I think there's a bigger move here beyond just saying let's get rid of fighting in hockey, and that's to say let's get rid of checking in hockey. And it will start at the minor leagues, and you've seen that already. I don't mind telling 5- and 6-year-olds you can't check because they don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to hit properly. But there's been a steady movement to take checking out of the game and so that it happens later and later. There's a move to take competition out of the game. They are going to ruin the game of hockey. And they'll always say, well, it's for health. Look at the concussions. Look at this. But if you don't learn how to do it properly at the beginning, whether it's winning or checking, whether it's losing or how to take a check, you're not going to learn. And when it hits you, you're going to get hurt.
Absolutely. Part of it is the optics of it. When you say, well, we want to take hitting out of our children's hockey. Now, when someone words it like that, you thought, well, yes, I don't want my child to get struck. But that's not what it's about. It is about checking. And hockey is a physical game. It's a fast game. And you say it's on ice, it's on skates. You have to learn these skills, and it's better if you learn them at an early age. No one is saying, well, at 5 years old, we got to teach a child how to drop gloves and start throwing. But you do have to do it at a young age. And also, I get sick and tired of all this. Well, it's all about skill development. We got to get rid of scoring, and we got to get rid of this. And, we're worried about the children's feelings. We need to stop worrying about the children's feelings and start more teaching and make it more about action than what's going on.
You know what?
Now.
I'll tell you one of the things that taught me how to check properly. And that was when my coach told me, get out there and check the guys. And I went out, and the first time I ended up in the penalty box because I did it all wrong. I thought, well, what happened? They said, you can't have your stick up and hit the guy. Guess what? You learn how to, don't put the stick up, hit properly.
It's about tough love. It's about going out there and you've got to learn. And sometimes to learn hockey, you're going to get bumps and bruises. And there's plenty of leagues out there, for kids that are just doing for fun, that aren't doing it to develop and just are doing it more as a form of exercise. There's leagues out there. And, it's just up to the parent to realize what does the kid want to do. And if the kid is curious and the kid wants to get better at hockey, there's going to be checking. There's going to be hitting. That's part of the game. And you know that going in. You don't suddenly go to a hockey game. Whoa, why are people touching me? This is not what I signed up for. You know what you're getting into.
Touchless hockey and punchless boxing coming soon to Canada near you. Matt, good talking to you. We'll chat again soon.
Absolutely. Take care.